Just how important is it to own a house? Surely that's part of the American dream, right? Is that we own our house. And I think sometimes we just kind of take as given. Of course, it's important to own a house. And that makes sense. I think it is important to own a house. But why? I think there's a deeper perspective on this than we normally realize. And to see that, I want to make a distinction. There's considering ownership, and here, let's do this in the context of kind of to own or to rent, because particularly these days, financial circumstances can really make this be a big question. Should I own? Should I rent? And I think everyone pretty much just take it for granted. Boy, it'd be nice to own, but are we really in a position to do that right now? How important is it? So to think about this, how important is it? Let's make a quick distinction. We can consider this from the fiscal or financial viewpoint, and then we could take a deeper perspective. I don't have a lot to say about the fiscal or financial, right? We can consult a financial expert to help us figure out, is this a good time, given our circumstances, to try to buy, to try to become an owner? Maybe for a little while I should rent. Surely, we should always consider this from the fiscal responsibility viewpoint, because fiscal responsibility is always an important part of our responsibility. But there's also something more at stake beyond just that. We might say it's the deeper aspect of ownership. Sometimes ownership might be fiscally responsible, but is there even a deeper reason to own that will have deeper implications? I'd like to suggest that here we need to think about what is a home anyway. Wendell Berry once wrote, "A house for sale is not a home." Isn't that rich? A house for sale is not a home. I think we could frankly push that a little further. A house that kind of at any moment we might put up for sale. Is that really a home? Home needs to have a certain permanence and stability to it. We all long for permanence and stability. The human community that is a household should have a certain permanence and stability. Obviously, it will never be perfectly stable or permanent, but certainly something we can and should strive for. We can put down roots in this place, among these people, in this specific earth, kind of this place in the world. This is part of the richness of what it is to have a home, is that we've kind of sunk our roots in here. And this is a kind of foundation for having a more fully human life. So we need to consider that, I think, is the deeper perspective of why ownership can have a value that's far beyond any financial value. There's a value in this kind of deeper aspect of this stability and permanence that can never be bought or sold. You know, if we only think in terms of the financial and being fiscally responsible, then we might value, for financial reasons, ownership. But at the same time, then, when it becomes a good time to sell, then we'll sell. So we might own our house or houses and buy and sell, all for financial reasons. But how does that map on to the deeper perspective? I think if we prioritize home and the human life we live together there, this is giving a much deeper perspective, a reason for ownership that not only is a reason for ownership, but it's also a reason to think in terms of a greater stability or permanence here. That might not always be something that's in our reach, but this is something we certainly can reach out for and strive for and value. So I think in the end, the question, should we own or should we rent? There's a lot more going on here. There's this richer perspective of the richer life that we live when we're really able to sink our roots into this place and make our house a home.